Who should UFC light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira fight next? That's the question, but you're not going to like the answer. Now, before I get into it, I want to make it very clear that I'm not wishing anything bad on anyone. I don't want to see anyone get injured. I don't mean to sound like a prick. I don't mean to sound insensitive or mean or cruel or whatever. I don't mean that. But the best thing that could happen to the UFC and to Alex Pereira is for Curtis Blaydes to pull out of the fight at UFC 304 against Tom Aspinall. I know that sounds terrible, and I'm probably going to hell for even suggesting that, but that's the best thing that could happen for the UFC, because this is a fight that Tom Aspinall wants. This is something that the fans want, so let's put this fight together. If, God forbid, if anything were to happen to Curtis Blaydes, this is the fight to make. Now, this is just a hypothetical situation. I'm going to get to the more realistic person for Alex Pereira's next fight, but in a hypothetical dream world, the best thing that could happen to the UFC and Alex Pereira and for Tom Aspinall is for Curtis Blaydes to pull out of the fight and be replaced on short notice by Alex Pereira. And there's multiple reasons why. The first reason is this is a fight that Tom Aspinall wants, and this is a fight that the fans want. The second reason is because Jon Jones doesn't really seem like he's that interested in fighting against Tom Aspinall. Now, if Tom Aspinall were to defeat Alex Pereira, well, Alex Pereira fighting Jon Jones wouldn't make any sense. So now Tom Aspinall would really eliminate any talk of Jon Jones fighting against someone else. He'd be the interim champion, and he would have defeated the guy who Jon Jones seems to be the most interested in fighting outside of Stipe. So that's the first problem it would solve. The second problem it would solve is if Alex Pereira is the guy holding the interim title, then Jon Jones, it wouldn't look bad on him. A lot of people, not me, but a lot of people in this industry believe that Jon Jones is doing everything in his power to avoid a fight against Tom Aspinall. But if he doesn't have to fight Tom Aspinall, meaning that Aspinall would have been defeated by Pereira and no longer holding the interim title, well, then Jon Jones has no problems now. Now he can just easily go in and have a fight against Pereira, and people wouldn't think twice about it. So that's another problem that it solves. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, if Alex Pereira fights against Tom Aspinall and he beats Tom Aspinall and he's now holding the interim title, won't he wait for Stipe to fight against Jon Jones? And maybe Stipe pulls off the upset and beats Jon Jones, and then they do an immediate rematch. Aren't we holding up the light heavyweight division? Because currently Pereira's the UFC light heavyweight champion. Wouldn't we be holding up that division? Well, no. And here's why. So let's say that Curtis Blaydes gets injured and the UFC is forced to replace him with Alex Pereira. These guys fight and Alex Pereira beats Tom Aspinall. Instead of Alex Pereira waiting to fight the winner of Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic, Alex Pereira is going to drop down back to light heavyweight and fight against Magomed Ankalaev. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, why would Alex Pereira do that? Why wouldn't he just wait for the winner of Jon Jones and Stipe? It's because Alex Pereira has already done this before. He did this in Glory. So Alex Pereira was the middleweight champion in Glory. In Glory Kickboxing, Alex Pereira was the middleweight champion. He moved up to light heavyweight to challenge for the light heavyweight title. Now, Artem Vakitov was the Glory light heavyweight champion. He was unable to defend his title, so instead Alex Pereira fought against Donaghy Abena for the interim light heavyweight title. Now, after Pereira knocked out Donaghy Abena, Vakitov was still unable to defend his title. So instead of waiting and sitting out and waiting for Vakitov to get healthy so they could unify the belts, Pereira dropped back down to middleweight and defended his title and beat Utrago Barak. And then after that fight, he moved back up to light heavyweight and unified the titles against Artem Vakitov. So it has happened before. This is a very unique guy in a sense where he doesn't wait around and he can stay very active and he won't be holding up a division and he won't be waiting around for the winner of Jon Jones and Stipe. This is a different guy we're dealing with in Alex Pereira. So in this hypothetical dream scenario that I've cooked up, there's a way that everybody can be happy. We can get the Aspinall fight, we can get the Ankalaev fight, and we can also get Alex Pereira fight against Jon Jones. We can have all these fights based off of this scenario that I'm talking about, because the UFC, they need main events. Everyone's complaining about the month of July. Take away Leon Edwards and Bilal Muhammad and take away Corey Sandhagen and Nurmagomedov. Take away those fights and just look at the front end of July. You have Tracy Cortez and Rose Namajunas, and then you have the other women's fight that's in a main event at the Apex. Everyone's complaining about those fights. Oh, July, it's so weak, it's so weak. Can't we get better main events than this? Everyone on social media, everyone on YouTube is complaining about that. And while I don't agree 100% with that, there is some truth with that the UFC desperately needs main event quality fights, and here are 3 main event quality fights that I've just laid out: Aspinall and Pereira, Pereira and Ankalaev, and Jones and Stipe, and then of course Jones and Pereira if everything works out in this dream scenario. So that would be the best case scenario for how this could all play out. But really what it boils down to is, and this is not speaking hypotheticals, this isn't speaking in a dream world, this is speaking in the real world. What it really boils down to is, what's going to make the UFC the most money? Is it giving the fans what they want, or is it doing what's best for the promotion? Because when we talk about who Alex Pereira should fight next, giving the fans what they want and doing what the company needs to have happen are 2 totally different answers. If it's giving the fans what they want, we just cut out all the middlemen, get rid of Stipe, get rid of Aspinall, and just go straight to the Jon Jones fight. Have Alex Pereira fight Jon Jones, and let's see if Alex Pereira can make history and be the first man to actually defeat Jon Jones. I know that Jones has lost a fight in the past, but it was by DQ. But be the first man to actually defeat Jon Jones and be the first man ever to win 3 titles in 3 different weight classes in the UFC. So that's what the fans want, because this is the fight that every fan wants to see. There's 2 types of fans. There's fans who want to see Alex Pereira fight against Jon Jones, and fans who don't know yet, but they want to see Alex Pereira fight against Jon Jones. That's what the fans want. They want to see this fight. But what needs to happen in the UFC, and what would be best for the company, is to have Aspinall fight against Blades, Jones fight against Stipe, Pereira fight against Ankalaev. The winner of Jones-Stipe, should it be Jon Jones, fighting Tom Aspinall. Alex Pereira fighting against Magomed Ankalaev. Should he beat Ankalaev and we can get Jones and Aspinall done in a timely fashion, then Pereira versus the winner of Jones and Aspinall. Because keep in mind, yes, everyone wants to see Jones and Pereira, but if Jones is defeated by Tom Aspinall, it's not the end of the world. Yes, we'd be a little bit disappointed that we don't see Jones and Pereira fight, but history will be made regardless of who's holding the heavyweight belt. Whether it's Jones, Stipe, Tom, Curtis Blades, regardless of who's the heavyweight champion by the time we get there, it's really irrelevant who Pereira fights, because the reason why we're excited about Pereira fighting at heavyweight is because we want to see if he can make history. Be the first man ever to win 3 titles in 3 different weight classes in the UFC. So after that very long answer, now I'm going to give you the short and sweet answer, which is Alex Pereira is going to fight against Magomed Ankalaev. That should be his next fight. That most likely will be his next fight. Hopefully it's soon. Hopefully it's in Abu Dhabi in, I believe, October, they said. something like that. So you've heard my thoughts on this situation. What would you like to see happen? Who would you like to see Alex Pereira fight next? Hit me up in the comments section below. Like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on social media, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.